we have to talk about Spirit Airlines. They just shut down and ended operations after 34 years, and we got to talk about what this actually means in the grand scheme of things. So first of all, I'm seeing people already trying to oversimplify the blame here. And to be clear, seeing people try to say this is all only Joe Biden's fault, I just need us to actually try to critically think, please, dear God, stop being so simple-minded. It's so dim. All right. This was a slow build of bad decisions stacking on top of each other. But what's important is how fast and accelerated the unraveling at the end was. In the present day, with the Cheeto Puff and his administration who is in office right now. So this wasn't supposed to look anything like this. The plan was a structured wind down. It was some kind of transition. And instead, it turned into an abrupt shutdown almost overnight. Flights were grounded. The systems went offline. People were stranded and finding out that their flights were canceled when they got to the airport. They were originally aiming for a structured transition, like I said, but it ended up accelerating into a full downturn instead. And even that orderly wind down language, that only came after the bailout collapsed. This wasn't a long planned voluntary transition. It was very much forced by the failure of these bailout talks. That kind of acceleration should tell you something about the present day. Because yes, it's about mismanagement, but it's also about how quickly things are starting to break when they start to crack. Spirit built its entire identity on being the cheapest option. But that only works if no one else can compete with you on price. And eventually, a lot of other airlines could. And even airlines like Delta and United, they were able to close that gap in a lot of ways. And then Spirit tried to pivot into premium options with aggressive expansion, trying to compete on multiple fronts, adding international flights, etc., etc. It diluted the brand, it strained operations, and it pulled them away from their original intentions. The merger with JetBlue Airways could have been a lifeline, but it got blocked, and when it came time to keep fighting for it, JetBlue ended up walking away instead of continuing the appeal. This matters to the story because people are leaving that portion out. Because without that deal, Spirit became so much more vulnerable. And then you layer in everything else, engine issues, grounding planes, rising costs, global instability, geopolitics, sanctions. Not all of that alone is the sole cause necessarily, but it was absolutely additional pressure on an already cracking set of operations. As things continued to crack and crack and crack, at some point, it was no longer cracking slowly and chipping away. It completely collapsed. They filed for bankruptcy twice. There were failed bailout talks, and then it was all done. 17,000 jobs were gone pretty much overnight. So let's zoom out from that. This is where my additional speculation comes in because remember, we don't look at things in a vacuum here. This is happening against a much larger backdrop of trash fire right now in the present day with the Cheeto Puff and his administration in office. This is not some small company that quietly failed. This was a major airline that everyone is aware of and has used. It is a core piece of the budget travel system. And the way it collapsed in a fast, messy, accelerated trash fire of a way is a huge signal. We're seeing things are not declining slowly anymore. They are holding, they are holding, they are holding, and then they collapse. That pattern, we're seeing it across industries. We just are all so conditioned to oversimplify everything and look at things in a vacuum as if it's not all connected. Nothing is happening in isolation. If anything, this points to a broader acceleration of economic pressure, tightening consumer spending, even the early cracks of an overinflated tech and AI-driven market. Which, keep in mind, AI is not driving any returns. It is not profitable in most cases. We are very likely in a bubble, according to economists. Dominoes don't fall one at a time anymore. They start clustering, especially in political climates that are extremely tumultuous and a threat to democracy, like the one we are in right now. So yeah, Spirit did make bad business decisions. Are there lots of companies making bad business decisions today and have been for a while? Yes. So keep that in mind. And I think we are also seeing another prime example of the failure of white male leadership. Whole other thing, but yeah. The speed of this collapse, that is the part that should have all people paying attention. This is a major indicator of a shift.